I would recommend, if you're going to experiment with Dutch ovens, you probably start with this recipe because it would be pretty difficult to mess it up. So we're going to get started here. We're going to be using blueberries today. You can use whatever type of filling you want to use. First, we're going to make our crumble topping. We're going to use about a cup of flour. We're going to use about a cup of sugar. And we're going to cut in a stick of margarine or butter if you live bravely. Gives it more flavor. And at this point, we're just going to take and blend these together. It should end up almost like the topping you see on an apple crisp. You don't want to overly blend this. Just incorporate it. As you can see, this is nothing difficult. That's about what you want it to look like. That's all that good sugar on the fork there. You want to get that. Okay, we're just going to set that aside for a minute. All we want to do here is just grease the pan. Get that in there. And I found this is actually easier just to use a paper towel. Just spread it evenly in there. I like to do all of my cooking, or as much as I can, in granite ware. I think this was about the best coating they ever put on pans. Heats evenly and can cook beautifully with it. At this point, all we're going to do is dump whichever filling you've chosen into the pan. Now take and spread that evenly. It's about the same way you'd spread a cake batter if you're making a cake. This is the fun part. Just going to take our topping, I'm just going to crumble that on top. Spread it out as evenly as you can. So as it cooks, it's going to spread out a little bit. Okay, we're going to take this over to the hot Dutch oven and put it in the oven. You can see that's smoking, and I use canning jar lids, the rings for trivets. You don't want to put a baked product directly on the bottom of the oven, or you're going to kind of tend to burn the bottom of your product. And we're just going to take and carefully place that in there. I'm going to put our lid back on the oven. That should be ready to go. Let me give you a few hints about working with charcoal briquettes. Every 2 charcoal briquettes equals about 50 degrees. So if you're going to want to run a 350 degree oven, which is typically what you're shooting for, you're going to want to run about 18 briquettes on the bottom and on the top, and that'll help you keep a 350 degree heat in your oven. You can be a little more precise with the briquettes than you can just with wood coals, where you have to use that hand test thing. But I'm going to be adding a little more in the way of briquettes on the top to get this temperature up to about 350. A lot of people say to just spread them around the perimeter of the Dutch oven. I just kind of prefer to cover the whole top. I suppose because I'm just used to working with wood coals. But With the Lodge Dutch ovens, you're going to find that the legs are long enough that you can get a good sized briquette under there. You don't have to fight with it too much. Plenty hot.